Welcome back to Super Sentai Reviews, episode number. What number am I on here? Sorry about this, just checking something here. Okay, I'm at episode 26 of 27 of Super Sentai. Now, I originally was going to wait to do this until after I finished up the Jobless Reincarnation series, but I figured though I want to do a video, so here you go. This is being the first two episodes of technically the third ever season for Super Sentai Battle Fever J. Yes. This one has the most weirdest design I have ever seen for any of these Ranger suits. And I'm going to show it off to you guys. Yeah, it is, like I said, really weird. Let's see if I can do this properly here. I know shit brought up before I saw this. But, okay. These are your Battle Fever Rangers. That is them. From left to right. The black one, that is Battle Kenya. Yeah, a lot of these ones got Battle. The blue one, that's Battle France. Red is Battle Japan. The orange one, yes, that's an orange one. That is Battle Corsac, representing the USSR, and Miss America. The motif is based upon Captain America, but the whole idea of the suit is basically taken from, well, Marvel's version of the character. Now, I should probably say about Battle Kenya. He's portrayed as, well, how should I put this? Well, whenever they depict them in the actual thing, this is, I thought, was kind of dumb, to say the least. They depict him as a stereotypical African savage man. Like, I'm not really sure why in the world that they did this for. By the way, I should point out though, this is the first season of Super Sentai actually done by Toei. And to this day, they still do it. This was the first one. This was released in the release year for this one was 1979, and it concluded in 1980. Yep. Now, the thing with this particular group is that they're the first Super Sentai team to ever have their base underwater. The way they enter it is that they enter through a sewer grate. They lift it up, basically the first four just guys. Later on, they add Miss America. And they run down a tunnel, and they run past an aquarium. Yeah, they actually run. I'm not kidding about that. Excuse me. And then they pull the same trick that then they go down a tube, and then they do pretty much the same thing they do in Jack, where they simply jump up something in order to get to where the main base is. I'm like, that's interesting. Now, from what I can tell, the next time officially you have an underwater base for any of the Sentai teams is not to Go 5, because everything else on the surface. I gotta say, you don't see much of this place at all. You see some other sushi room. Oh, and the thing is, the leader is a general. And this guy's name is General Katsuma Tusen. Yes. Very stern guy. And he's also somewhat of a genius. Yeah. Now, the name itself, basically Battle Fever, is basically that's what the team is referred to as Battle Fever, never Battlefield J. And the way they have them introduced is that, well, apparently the four guys were recruited part of the events of the series this run anyways, and it's never really explained. It's like, oh, these guys are just together and they are investigating this series of murders happening. Yes, a series of murders happening where this woman carrying a red umbrella is stabbing people. Three people of the National Defense Agency. But here's the thing. No blood is coming out. Then what's she hitting with? Cyanide. Yeah, seriously, she hits it with cyanide. So they investigate what this thing is, what this woman is, and then they think this is they find a woman with a red umbrella. They think this is actually the assassin. Nope, not her. It's completely somebody else. This is Diane Martin. Yes, played by Diane Martin. Yes, yeah. It's something interesting about this where the fact that the actual actress has the same name as the character she's playing. Mm-hmm. By the way, the real names of the other members: Bao Japan, Masao Den, Bao Cossack, Kazu Sushi. I think that's his name. In this set, and let's see, Battle France, Kazuke Shida, Battle Kenya, Seru Akibito. Mm-hmm. And the thing with this guy is, despite the fact his outfit is black, his clothing is green, which I thought that was kind of odd, to say the least. Mm-hmm. Yep. Also, we kind of have in the back, we've set up basically for something that doesn't happen for a few episodes. Like, oh, hit this big, humongous metal piece of machinery that we're not going to unveil until episode 5. Don't worry, we'll cover it. Now you're probably thinking, though, who are the main villains of this particular run? The Secret Society Egos, and they basically worship this thing. This is Satan. Argos. Yep, this is the thing right here. And this is kind of, in a way, the villain anyways. Well, the villain we probably focus on this is Commander Hedler. Yep, that's him. And by his voice, you probably think that, oh, is this Iron Claw? No, the actor that's playing him a little later on. Yeah, I will get to the reasoning why he's, believe it or not, he's actually one of 3 characters in this series to have their actor replaced. The other 2 being Bao Cossack and Miss America. I will explain when I get to them of the reason behind it. So, how long has the Secret State Egos been active? According to the 2nd episode, just before the dawn of civilization. A long time. So basically, it operate in the background. We get a little more explanation in episode 2. So, Battle Fever themselves are basically told of this organization by the FBI of all people. And you're probably thinking, wait, the FBI, an American law enforcement agency, tells some group from Japan about this group who operates in Japan. Well, apparently this particular brand just started up just recently. As was implied anyways. And Battlefield J's job to do is take out the Japanese branch, and Diane Martin from the FBI is basically recruited to their team as sort of assistants to basically do it. Like, okay. And then we have Mr. Foster. Yes, that's what his name is, Foster, where he basically says goodbye, and he says goodbye to his subordinate. You think it's his subordinate. Gives her a hug. Is there something more to this guy? Yes, it's later revealed after the umbrella woman kills him that this guy is actually Diane's father. Which I'm thinking, Okay, if this is her father, why does she have a different last name for? Yeah, this is something that's never actually explained. Yeah, he just basically killed just because, well, he is in fact like there. Mm-hmm. By the way, the debut episode is called Assault Run to the Ballpark. Yes, that is seriously the name of this episode. So, right after he's killed, Diane briefly grieves for her father, and then they basically suit up. Now, instead of like giving like a morpher and then morph up that way, they're basically told first thing I gotta do, try out the suits, and they put them on, which is a bit unusual. And that's when they debut. That's when they show off the what could be the potential robot. Particularly, I think robot basically petite machinery they can use later. Then later on, they actually confront the woman who turns out to be a monster. Excuse me, which, according to I read online, the Wiki refers to this particular creature as the Umbrella Monster. The sub I watched referred to as the Bat Monster. Okay, and they battle it. And how do they beat this? Well, we also, I should point out that there's actually, believe it or not, there's actually grunts here. Now, what is the name of the grunts? They're called Cutlers. Yes, seriously, Cutlers. And you are probably thinking, okay, what the heck do these things look like? Well, it's Cutmen. Yes, this is them. Yes, they look like German SS officers. They're basically not like this on purpose because it's evil. So, what is Ergo's plan? Do they have an actual plan? Mm, they don't reveal at the start. I'm only 2 episodes in. It's probably world domination. If I can tell, they kind of explained this in the first episode. Their plan is simply to take over the world, and they apparently do a lot of fighting, like in the U.S., Europe, about all over the place, and now they come to Japan. Okay, so Commander Hadler, who is the worshiper of this thing. By the way, how they create monsters is a bit ingenious. So they create monsters with this giant ball kept in their, I don't know, their worship space, and this brings up the monster. First, of course, the Umbrella Monster, and at the end of the very first episode, we have debut of the very second monster of the series. Mm-hmm. Yes, the very second one, which is called Fang Lion. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was interesting, though they actually had the same age debut just prior, like at the end of the episode. Now you might be asking, do they do this for the end of the next episode where they debut next monster? Not really, no. So, by the way, the Valkyrie Jays, their way of defeating their monsters was basically with batons. Yes, seriously, just basically have them use like batons, whack these cut men, and then simply form like a special like mini weapon, this particular almost like a bazooka, and fire a rocket at the damn thing, and that's the monster's destroyed. Next episode is very dark of an episode. First episode was kind of dark, this one's a lot more darker. So get this. We had the Fang Lion monster who is assisting this other woman who apparently is recruiter for the Agro Secret Society, where let's have their wishes come true. So we first have a little girl who wishes her rival to disappear. And it's later reported that she committed suicide by falling out the building. And you're thinking, really? And they confirmed this as suicide. Yes, they did. So, and then we have this other guy who prays for this other guy to die, and he does. And the reason why I want him to die, he wanted to become chief. And why did this little girl, why did this why did middle school girl want her rival to die? So she could be number one. Yep. So apparently she and her mother joined Agros, but not her little brother. Nope, he did not join the group at all. Excuse me. So throughout this episode, basically they're investigating, and of course after the death of another person, they're told by their general, redo the investigation. Which, okay. So they eventually do find out, thanks to the little boy, that this place called Future JoJo's. So Battle France decided basically to go undercover. It says, I like to join. Sakura-san basically recommended. And since that was somebody she's familiar with, like, okay, come on in. They're praying, and then it turns out the people that he's actually with are the Cutmen. He bows briefly, and of course he gets captured. The other guy's like, he's taking too long. Oh, I forgot almost for continuing here. The episode opened up with Diane Martin with, I think it's supposed to be Battle of France, and they're shopping. Why is she shopping? I have no idea. So they get to the lab where they basically do the brainwashing, and for some reason they decided to have, get this, the TARDIS dematerialization sound, which I thought that was kind of weird. Why the heck would they even bother to use this damn thing? I mean, I'm sure the sound itself is owned by BBC, so why in the world would Toei get away with basically using a sound effect from Doctor Who, of all things? Who the heck knows? And eventually the Valkyrie J the rest of them do show up, and of course they basically destroy the facility, and they battle the monster, destroys it, and, well, as for the woman herself, she's executed by Agros for a failure. Or a series of failures. And that's pretty much it for the first 2 episodes. Now, one thing overall about Valkyrie J overall, in just the first 2 episodes, it's a very dark series. Yes, but I was kind of having some interest in this one purely because the fact that one of the actors in this one does pop up in Dazaman. He did also pop up in later on in a Super Sentai, and the fact this guy also played Space Sheriff Gavin. That's something I probably will cover in the future. Yeah, this is a guy who plays like 3 characters once in the Gokaiger vs. Space Sheriff Gavin, and now I get a chance to see the Battlefield J suits in action, because the only time I saw these things in action was in the 35th anniversary film. That was the first and only time I've ever seen these suits in action. Now see the thing, why not? Yep. And now with this one, I should also point out this is kind of in the way, at the time, the first series under the Showa era for Super Sentai. And this would go on up until Live Man. Yes. Live Man was when they ended the Showa era for Super Sentai, while in the case of the Hensai era, that would start with Turbo Ranger, and the 20th century would end with Go-Go 5. In the case of the 20th century, it would actually end with, I think it's the 43rd one, I think so. Because now we're in the Roa era for Super Sentai right now in Japan. But I haven't a chance to discuss those yet. I'll probably discuss that one in the future, okay? So yeah, that's it, particular review. And stay tuned for later on today for more videos, okay? See you next video. Bye.